Okay, let's go ahead and jump right into it. I already have my chapter. I changed the names of the chapters. I did. Finally caught up. It's like, that's a mistake. So we're gonna learn chapter 6. Gonna do a little bit of a duplicate of again. But today I'm actually gonna do something a little bit different. All the code is done, but I want you all to see my thinking regarding changing things up a tad bit. So we're actually gonna do some little ETV within this, and yeah, go from there. So we're working with strings, aka characters again, but in a different mechanism, and we're gonna work with Lubridate again, but I'll give you more details on what else you can do. And mind you, we're scratching the surface on what you can do with Lubridate, especially, just so that you can have a framework of thought. So here, string R allows you to work with strings, okay, characters within R. I'm gonna go ahead and run this. I should have used a setup, but it worked. Okay, warnings we can ignore. Okay, and within string R, there's a data frame called sentences. Actually, it's not a data frame; it's a vector. So if I just run this, it's not gonna show me what I want. So what I could also do, what I could do to see what is in sentences, is just to type it within the console. Sentences. Can't speak. So 720 sentences. Okay, and so these are random sentences. It's just for us to work with, just for us to analyze a bunch of text data. This is not going to be natural language processing by any means necessary, but it's going to give us the ability to just work with some text within R. I'm gonna give you all just some functionalities that I find to be very, very useful. Okay, one of the first ones is string detect. Okay, what string detect does is just detect if a string is within any of our sentences, or with any other sentences within the actual vector. So if I run this, it's going to either tell me true or false within the sentences. So if I go to detective, go to environment, we see that it's a vector of true and false statements. What I could then do is go to sentences again, sentences, you can see down here, and then within the quote, within brackets, okay, I can say detected. And what do you think is going to happen when I run this? Okay, it's going to show me all the sentences that actually have time in it. Okay, so you see times, time, sometimes time, so on and so forth. So you can kind of see how it works, how string detect works. Another common one is replace, the string replace. And so instead of saying time, we can just replace it with hour. We can replace, as you time says, time with hour. So what that would look like is, so I'm gonna call this replace sentences instead, so I can work with this. Okay, run this. So now this should be 720 again, but I'm going to watch what I do here. This is a little nifty. String detect again, but this time I'm gonna. Why is it auto completing? Okay, I know what to do. All right, so then from there, I'm going to string detect again, string detect, but this time I'm going to string detect on hour. But this potentially could have more because hour could have showed up other places, but that's fine. Right, and then we'll do hour. You see, because hour did show up to other places in other sentences, right? But it should say, one of them should say some hour. Yeah, some hours right here. Okay. All right, so that's how replace works. However, if I did replace, there's a function called just replace, and what that does is just does it the first occurrence. So it's only going to change it here. All right. So if I run this, What did I do? So then here should be sentences, replace sentences. My logic is off because it's so big. Detected, okay, fine, that's fine. I didn't do anything there. Replace sentences every single time it says time, put an hour, place it once. Okay. And then what I should be looking for is time. Oh, because I already did replaced it. My question is, oh, because I should only replace it once. I'll come back to that. Okay, I definitely have a brain fart. I know why it's doing that, because it's considering the very first time it shows up within the actual element, not necessarily the first time it actually shows up within the vector. So every single time, every element has, or at least every one of these elements has time in it, the one that we're replacing. So it's going to replace it only where it shows up first within that vector. So if I do this, not that. If I did this, no sentence has time show up twice, but if it did show up twice, it would replace it at this only the first time it occurred. Okay. And then hopefully that makes sense. And then remove all works the same way. All you're doing is removing every single A within the actual vector. I'm just going to look at all occurrences. So if I just look at this, all the A's should be gone. And I'm not talking about Oakland. Lowercase a. Lowercase a. I could also add, so this is the OR symbol, okay? And I can also add uppercase A. And so then if I do this, and then I go to remove, and I go to type removed, that should have all the A's. That's what I was expecting, okay? So that's that. I would say the most popular one that I use a lot is detect. You're going to see that in a moment when we do some real life work. So we learned string detect, we learned string replace, we learned string remove. String remove also works in the same way as in the first occurrence. This is going to be a good opportunity for us to see this. Okay, if I do remove, right, it's only going to remove the first occurrence. Okay, so say for example in 718, this A is still here. Okay, but if I would go back to remove all and then type 718 again, I'll look at 718 again, you're going to see that the A is gone there. So hopefully you see the logic there. Same thing with regards to string replace. All right, so string extract, that's pretty nice. So what it does, and what this is doing, it extracts the information that you're looking for. So what this is going to do is this code is looking for numbers. It's looking for numbers. So this is telling, D stands for looking for a number, stands for the actual number. And there's a lot of different ways of symbolizing different types of characters. And this is the mechanism for a number, \\D. This plus means any number. So if I do this, I don't know if any of these have numbers in it. We'll see. And I'm going to return a vector. Okay. And all of them don't have numbers. Okay. We're going to see this working a little bit. I can create one just so you can see C character, string, let's say H, 1, 2, 3, and then let's say, so you can see this is mixed with character, with actual alpha, the actual elements within the alphabet. So if I do info, okay, and then I sit there and do string string extract. Okay, I'm going to do info, comma, and then I say what we have here, backslash d plus. Okay, of course, I knew I was going to do that. Okay, so it's extracting numbers, okay? But let's say I only wanted the very first two. First two numbers. I can put these in curly braces and just put 2 here. And I'll get the first 2 numbers. Okay? You see how that works. That's cool. So the extract all element works as well. So if I had a number here, it's not going to pick that up. Okay, so if I were to erase this, it's looking for contiguous numbers. Now when I do this, it's going to now change the data format that, when I do this, it's going to change the data format that I'm actually going to get. It's going to turn it into a list because this one had 2 elements within it. Okay, so then you can see the recap, because I'm not looking for all of them. But now when I look for all of them, it extracts it and turns it into a list. All right. String glue is kind of self-explanatory. You're just going to glue things together. So if you were to just, there's a lot of things moving right here. So one thing to note is that this is a template. In Python, I believe it's called like a template literal, or in JavaScript, template literal. Long story short is like you have a variable name within the actual string. And so what this is doing is just gluing information together so that you can actually have a variable that might change within the string. Okay, so if I run this and I type message, you'll see that we have the exact time and day. Okay, it's the 16th. I'm gonna teach you about something else. I like to use this a lot. You see people, you can use this as well. This is kind of cool. So let's say you have part 1. You say I love, and then you have part 2. Broccoli. You can paste them together just like string glue, but you'll see this is actually has more usability. At least I prefer using this. Part 1, comma part 2. So when I run this, it pastes them together. Okay. And let's say, for example, I want to reduce that space in the middle. Okay, is it collapse? I believe is equal to it's not doing what I expect. Oh no, that's fine. Okay. Well, yeah, you can use paste. Let's continue. In terms of time, because we don't have a lot of it. We have hour, minute, seconds. We can actually have our current time. All right, we ran, and you see what the format looks like. And this is current time. Right, we spoke about this last time, where this is the date, this is the specified time, and I can get the hour, minute, second from the actual time using those functions, 1352, 8 seconds, 8.96 seconds. Okay, and then we can format it all together without having the actual dates. Oh, this is going to be interesting. I wonder why that is, why this is not working. It must be a formatting issue on my part. My apologies. Well, that's fine. I'm going to bypass this complex example and jump right into the ETV. So in this ETV, I'm going to really try to highlight some elements within stringr and lubridate. And this code will work, but it's not going to do what you want it to do. All right, so I'm going to take you out to the website. Let's do that real fast. Let's do this. Let's go to the website. So here we go. Here's the website. And so here we have the men's 100-yard dash time and then the women's 100-yard dash time. And the thing is, I believe that's a minus. It's definitely a minus. That's plus. And so what's important to note here is that this is not formatted well. So if I bring this into R, everything's going to be considered a string. These minuses are not going to be considered to be minuses. So I have to not only bring it in, but clean it up. So I have to utilize some string to text to account for these minuses. I need to remove this A. Low key, that's a variable I should probably still consider, but in terms of time, I'm going to just remove it. And then this is date, which is going to be considered a string, so I have to do something with that as well. And not only do I want men, I want to have the women's times as well. Okay, I'm pretty sure I'm going to forget this, so I might as well just remind you now. Extra credit if you do this and do this the right way, you see the conversion, you do this the right way. I will want you to create a visualization, some kind of visualization demonstrating what you see here. Oh, this is going to be interesting. I don't know how much we're going to be able to cover now that I see that these are just providing years. Yikes. Okay, well, the men part's easy. I can do that, but the just the years is going to be tough. But it's fine. We're going to make it work. All right, so let's do this. Make it work. So then here is the code. So therefore, you don't have to do much here. I already provided this to you. Go to very in environment. When I run this, that makes sense. No, it doesn't. I run HTML tab. No, it should work. Okay, I don't know why. Okay, so here's the information in R. Fine, fantastic. Here's the information in R. And so I already know I'm going to be using some manipulations. So what I'm going to automatically do, or I can I'm going to tell you this now. Sorry, got ahead of myself. So I want to first mention that, look at all this. All these are strings. Are treated as characters. I want to then convert them to what they need to be. I'm going to then add a label for each of the data frames that specifies whether it's a female, woman, or men. Run this, okay? And this is what I wanted to say, and then I'm going to bind them together, okay? So this is, everything done here is correct. Everything done here is correct. So, yeah, at least doesn't need to be modified yet. So this is everything here. And what I wanted to mention is that I'm legitimately adding them together to then, because they're in the same, they have the same columns. I'm binding them together so that I can make the manipulations in one fell swoop rather than doing it twice. Okay. So what I'm going to then do, okay, I'm going to rename the columns. This is, again, it's not an issue. I'm going to rename the columns, rename one of the columns, wind speed. We haven't done this before. And the reason is because I don't want to have to keep typing out this. So mention that. So that's the wind speed. It's interesting, that speed. Oh, it's not going to show up here. I guess I have to go to mod. It's mod 1. And so you can see that the column name has changed. Okay. You can see that I'm opening up every single data frame every single time I make a change so that I can see that the change has occurred. Dr. Williams makes mistakes. All right. So I'm gonna be honest. This code right here is tab. I got this code from ChatGPT, and I know ChatGPT is still taboo, but I would like to show you all something. When I run this, legitimate. Oh, okay. If we run this button right here, I'll start over. You see the new scenery. This is running everything that ran before it. Okay. When I press this button, Now if I run this, now it should work. So if you see mod 2, what I'm trying to do is make wind speed quantitative, and I successfully did this. And this is where ChatGPT is not going to be our best friend, because it's going to do, even if you give it a better prompt than what I gave it. I said turn it to a numeric variable, right? While removing things that are not numbers, that are not numeric. But if you remember, let's go here. So, matter of fact, I'm going to call this tempt, okay, just so that you can still have the other variable in it. I'll keep it as that. Sorry. Here, if you look at wind speed, everything is positive, right, within mod 2. But if you note back in mod 1, you have some negative values, okay? So that's an issue. And so to fix this is going to take a couple steps. I mean, I took some time to say, okay, how would I do this first? And I think this is a good learning experience. Hopefully y'all can still hear me. Okay, fix this while we gotta go to work. Just to fix this one variable. I think this is a great learning opportunity. All right, so we're gonna erase all of this, okay? And again, the point of this whole thing is to turn wind speed into a numeric value, okay? So one of the first things to do is that I want to remove the actual sign. Or not remove. I want to create a new variable to preserve the sign of wind speed. I want to create a variable that preserves the sign. So let's do that. So what that means is that I'm gonna mutate, use the mutate function, create a new variable called sign. Okay. And this is what I'm going to teach you all. I believe this is the first time you're using this, called case when. Okay, so case when allows you to look at different cases, and so when this happens, do this. When this happens, do that. So technically, you would think we have 3 cases: positive, negative, and neither. But technically, we have 4 because there is a value, and I was able to search this, that's 0.0. Okay, so this doesn't have any sign in front of it, so I would still say this is a 0. We don't want to call it NA. So we're going to treat this as 0, 0. So it's 4 cases. And where you see NWI, I'm actually going to treat that as NA. I don't know what that technically means, but that's not a numerical value. So I'm going to treat that as NA for now. Okay. So let's go ahead and preserve the actual sign. So when I detect, which that could have been a question, when I detect within wind speed a positive number, I'm going to notify that this is a positive. This is positive, okay? Positive, okay? And then watch this logic. This is not going to work, by the way. I already know it's not, because you're going to learn a lot in this video. Otherwise, when it's true, just give me back wind speed. Just give me back wind speed, okay? So technically, this is going to run into an error. And the reason why this is going to run into an error is because the plus symbol is a special character. Okay, the plus symbol is a special character. Okay, let's run this so you can see what I mean by that. And so we have to say that we're not treating it as a special character. Okay, if you're familiar with regular expression, regex, that would be the regular expression. So what we're going to do is what we did with regards to that D that we saw earlier, and just put 2 backslashes in front of it, and then that should work. Okay, so when we go to mod 2 now, let me exit out of the sentence since we're no longer doing that. I'll go to mod 2. Oh, let me treat you one more thing. So what I can do is relocate this variable. Instead of it being at the end, I can use relocate and then do sign, comma, dot after, and then say wind speed. Okay. And so now this is, it's right next to it. If I didn't do that, it would have been at the very end. So what I'm going to do now is, and I sort this with all the positives versus NAs, or the other previous values, all the positive value, all the ones that have a plus sign is going to be out annotated as a positive. Okay, so I still want my negatives, and I want to consider these NWIs with as NAs, and then keep this 0. So the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to do the negatives, and I already did this already, so there's an issue with one of them already. So when I'm going to do a minus. That's not a special. That's not a special character. But note what happens when I do this, though. When I do this, negative. Okay, it works, of course. Thank God. But you can see I still get negatives here. Okay, I still get negatives here. But there is one negative. Okay, so this is a special symbol that I don't think the UT8 code is being recognized. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to copy this particular symbol and then say either it's a minus or the pipe is the or it's that particular symbol. So then I run this. When I run this now, okay, it takes a moment to sometimes refresh. When I run this now, I get my negatives. Okay. My negatives. Okay. From there, I will then say I'm gonna treat my let me see. I'm gonna do the 0 zeros. I'm gonna do the 0.0 next. Okay, and I'm just gonna say 0.0 tilde, treat this as a character 0.0. Otherwise, don't give me the wind speed, give me NA. Okay, give me NA. So these are the 4 different cases. So when I do that, I now, what did I do wrong? Oh, comma. All right, so I swear the old R version didn't do that. You have to always refresh it. So I get the 0.0, I got my negative, I get my positives, and then everything else is NAs. Okay, that's good. So we're still not done. As you can imagine, it's not a number. Okay, it's not a number. The next huge thing that I need to do is to extract the number. So this is going to be a whole learning experience in terms of extracting numbers, because these numbers have what in them? They have a decimal place. So a decimal place is not a number. Okay. A decimal place is not a number. So what I'm going to do is extract 1, luckily, 1, the first number, then the second number. Okay. The first number, then the second number. So we're going to use the extract function. So you learn case 1, which is great, and you're learning, at least you've learned about string detect, which is fantastic. Now I'm going to extract the number from the actual string. Okay, and so we're going to name that. Let's see. We're going to name it. Let's say wind speed. I'm going to say temp because it's temporary. Because we need to do one more thing after that. All right. So here, what we're going to do is say this is string extract. Okay, and we're going to extract the number from it. For wind speed, and that's going to be \D period \D. This is not correct, okay? Because it's a number after a number, okay? But this is not correct because the period is also a special symbol, so you have to also provide the 2 backslashes, so a special character, so that it can run like we expect, okay? So we do this now, and I'm actually going to do this again to relocate it, okay? And I'm going to relocate wind speed to be after wind speed temp to be after wind speed. All right. So now you can see that I extracted all the numbers. Okay. Let's just show it so you can believe me. Okay, cool. There we go. But these are still treated as a string, so we need to turn that into a numeric value. Okay. Mutate. I'll do it up here so that we can preserve the order. Wind speed. Told you it's a lot. As dot numeric. Okay. Wind speed. And pipe it here again. Okay, we're good. So now when I sort this, it's in order. It's in order. But it doesn't have my negatives. So now we have to do another case one. I know, right? It's a lot. This is I'm actually going to rename it well, let's say wind speed, mutate wind speed, I say final. Okay, final. Okay, this is equal to case one. And the reason I'm using case one is so that I can, when I see a negative in sign, I'll multiply by -1. If I see a positive, I'll do anything. Oh, so that's it. So all I have to do is just do case one, and then actually I'm gonna teach you something else. Another way of doing this. Hopefully this doesn't embarrass myself. I don't. If underscore else, if sign is equal to negative, right? That's a negative. Okay, I'm going to take wind speed temp, if I can type, and I'm gonna multiply it by -1. Else, just do wind speed temp. Okay, and then that's that. So it's if else. There's a lot of ways of doing the same thing. A lot of ways. But I argue this is less lines of code. All right, I didn't embarrass myself. I could have said, you never know. Oh, I need to do the after again. Okay, do this. Boom, boom. Copy. After a sign. I could have done after somewhere else. But wind speed final. Wind speed, and then we'll do wind speed. I'll cut in pipe it. Speed final. All right. So now the negatives are there. Yes, the most negative. Good job, y'all. I mean, us. Y'all help me too. I can feel the encouragement. So that's that. Okay, that's that. So sometimes you got to be really, really wary when it comes to using ChatGPT in terms of the answers. Did I want it to be a learning example? Yeah, sure I did. But this is a great opportunity for us to go a little deeper. Okay. So then step 6, we're going to turn time and rank into numerics. So we have time and rank. So this is actually one of the other ways of actually working with string. I think it's string extract. Is it extract? I'll remove all, sorry. So what we're going to do is just remove anything that's a number in this. So depending on what the situation may be, we can just either do a string remove, a string extract, or so on and so forth. So right now we're removing the numbers. What we could have done is just remove anything a space in the I, a space in the A, and a space in the plus, and then turn that value to be a numeric. Because those are only the cases that we are dealing with. But say for example, we can't observe all the rows, and you know there's a number in it. That very first number that's what you want, where that has a decimal. You could run this code here. Okay, so when I run this is going to extract all the numbers within that string and then turn it into a numeric, and then it's going to turn rank into numeric. And as you can see, I'm doing this all in one mutate, so that is possible. Okay, so I'm gonna run this mod 3. Okay, I get this. And now this is time is numeric. Okay. Time is numeric. I thought I was gonna see Noah, but is he on here? Okay, that's not the right that's not the time for this. All right, so continuing, let's continue going on. This one, however, is not another issue. We have an issue with this. Because if we were to run this function, ideally date needs to be a character, right? Date needs to be a character. But I think I already mentioned this earlier in the previous video. When it comes to date, converting date, these dates are really problematic, right? Because they don't have the same format, okay? So we could have made this video a lot longer and, you know, say, okay, is the information a date or not a date? And then convert it accordingly. However, I don't think that's the best way of doing it. I'm saying the fastest way to do this is just say, you know what? I'm just going to extract the year. I'm just going to take the year out, and that's going to be my variable. All right? Let's do that. All right, so here, this is what I'm going to do. Okay, this is what I'm going to do. I'm going to do year, okay, is equal to string extract, okay? And it only happens once, okay, in the actual string, which is great. It makes it a lot easier. And I'm going to take my date, okay, and I'm going to extract what? Any number that has 4 digits in a row in sequence. So when I do that with mod 4, we can see that we have year. When I put this, it's in order, but it's treated as a string. How do I know that? Because that's the default. It doesn't know what it is once you just extract it. So if I just do up and then str, okay, they're treating year as a string. Okay, I'm pretty sure you can see that. Or a character. All right. So if that's the case, what I can do next is to say mutate and turn year into a number. Okay, so as dot numeric, and then say year, and we get this. What do you think I can now do now that it's treated as a numeric value? It's not a date variable, but we can still work with it. What can I then find? I know I speak fast sometimes, but we can find. I'll do the same mutate so you can see that it's possible on my end. Age of the actual it's not age, it's the amount of time that elapsed since then. I'm gonna say age because I'm under duress. But I wouldn't call this age in real life. I'll think about it some more. Put it in the comments, what do you think it should be called since this actual event occurred. So now we can find the age of when that event occurred. All right, just like and then here we go. 63 years ago. Who's Frank Bud? Does anyone know these people? I know the only person I think I know is Usain Bolt. All right, so that's cool. That's cool. So again, I said in the video, if you email me a visualization with this information, extra credit. I want to see what you all create without instructions. That'd be cool. All right, done for now.